Hey, everybody, on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Wrestling, guys, we're going back to Philadelphia. We are going to review WrestleMania. Most of you probably already know what happens, but you don't know what we think. So we're going to touch on all of that. Also, WrestleMania, does it need two nights? And CM Punk and AEW are going to heat up this Wednesday. So tune in and find out what's going on. SAMP&CHANCE, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE. We are a couple days outside of WrestleMania. It's all said and done. Philadelphia is packing up. Monday Night Raw is already in the bag. And I got my best friend here, man, the man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. He's going to break it down with me. Chance, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? How was your birthday weekend?
Yeah, birthday weekend was great. Couldn't have asked for more. It's always WrestleMania filled, wrestling filled. Couldn't complain. My nephew's birthday is the day after me, so he kind of takes most of the spotlight now, which is fair.
Yeah.
Had his 5th birthday, so celebrated that. So yeah, man, it all worked out. Everything fit into place, and there was no issues, no hassles. Caught everything, saw everything. Favorite time of the year for me, man. I tell people this is my Diwali and this is my Christmas, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a good weekend. Birthday, WrestleMania. So
Yeah, can't complain, man. I'm very, very happy. All right, I'm gonna start right off the bat. WrestleMania night 1 did nothing for me. I
not
really
really.
feel that WrestleMania was night 2, which leads me to the question before we break anything down, do we need night 1 anymore? I get it. It's financially fruitful. It's, it fills in a lot of boxes, but it doesn't translate to what we were watching on night 1. That's just my opinion.
I totally agree. You don't need night one. They could trim a lot of the fat by getting rid of it. But like you said it best, it's all about the financials. They're going to get 60, 70,000 people in there. So they'll never get rid of it. But it's not needed, no.
No, I mean, I really felt that. Like, I don't know why, but like, night 1 at 39 was special. Like, I mean, you walked away from there. I can tell you still to this day, things that happened on night 1 that stand out in my mind. But I mean, we're only 2 or 3 days removed. And bro, I can honestly tell you, man, maybe one thing of night 1 kind of stands out to me, maybe two. You know what I mean? But that's even now. If you ask me a year from now after 41, I don't know if I'll remember anything from night 1. It was just kind of, I felt like they couldn't get it off the ground. Like they tried, whatever they tried, the crowd was into it. So it wasn't a question of the crowd not being into anything. It just felt like the whole night was stagnant. And, everything happened on night 2. But hey, let's break it down. Let's get right into it. First match of the night, the curtain jerker of night 1 was Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. I had a lot of high hopes on this, only based on the fact of what Rhea and Charlotte did last year. But that really showed me personally that Charlotte is still levels above everyone in that division. Being able to put that kind of match on with Rhea Ripley. I thought Becky had some of that in there, and I'm sure she does, but for whatever reason, I mean, Rhea won. I mean, the right person won, but it just, I don't know. I felt like they couldn't get that thing going. You know what I mean? Like it was a plane that couldn't get up in the air.
Yeah, Becky, I don't know they just don't have great chemistry. They don't work that well together. And that opening match kind of sets the tone for night 1. That didn't set a great tone. Night 2's opening match, Drew and Seth, set a great tone. That could be a lot of the difference right there. But yeah, Rhea and Becky, a lot of hype. I don't blame them for starting off with that match because on paper it looks like it could have been a blockbuster.
100%.
It wasn't that great. They just don't work well together. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this whole night, I almost feel like there was a pressure on everyone backstage on this night because I mean, from top to bottom, really, I mean, outside of one match, in my opinion, we'll get to it when we get there, really stood out and kind of delivered a night 1 kind of WrestleMania type of performance. But that being said, let's move on to the undisputed tag team titles. We were both kind of wrong on this one. I didn't realize.
Which I'm glad I was wrong because my boy won, so I'm glad to be wrong on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm happy too because finally, like you said, if you're gonna make the split and you're gonna have 2 programs and 2 separate entities, this was the best thing to do. Having the tag team titles, as a pair, as undisputed, really didn't make sense in a lot of senses.
Yeah,
But now that they've separated them, so to just clarify, both titles were hanging on 2 separate, latches, and whoever got one set of the titles was the champion. And if you were still in the match, you had the opportunity to grab the other. So in essence,
I like how they did that because it's a good way to split it up.
Yeah, so they split up the titles. So now we don't have undisputed champions. You have your SmackDown champions, and now you have
on
your
Raw.
Raw champions. SmackDown did the right thing. I mean, you were right on the money there. I think giving it to Grayson and giving it to
Austin.
Austin Theory there, perfect, great. You know what I mean? They can work. Now they have that little bit of a faction with Logan as well. So now you have the tag team titles and the US champion all kind of working together on the same page. On the other side, R-Truth delivered. I mean, that was funny as hell. The hot tag. I mean, that just was hilarious.
Yeah.
R-Truth is genius, man. I love him. Right guys won there too. I'm really happy for R-Truth.
Yep. They booked this match well. The both teams that should have won.
Yeah.
It was a good, actually pretty good match. I enjoyed it.
No, it was a good match. Trust me. I don't get me wrong, but again, just it didn't. I don't know. Night one just didn't click. That's
No, it
I
didn't.
keep coming back to that. Rey Mysterio with Andrade against Santos Escobar and
Dominant.
Dom. Your thoughts?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't special. I mean, they tried hard. They worked hard. There's some good moves in there, but I didn't. It felt like a SmackDown tag team match to me. If anything, it didn't feel special at all. I don't know. That's the vibe I got from watching it. You kind of
Yeah,
they
I
kind
know.
of forced this match together towards the last couple of weeks. It didn't have any story really much to it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it looked like one way you could see how this kind of tie into the Judgment Day stuff where Dom's kind of running business for himself and he fails. You know what I mean? Sort of a deal, not really taking the advice of the crew that he's a part of, working with a completely separate crew. So you got a little bit of that in there. But overall, I thought the match, like you said, it was a SmackDown match. And
Yeah,
the only surprise we got on night one came in this match with Kelsey and that other big dude from Philadelphia
yeah,
coming
Johnson. Yeah,
and
Looking Johnson.
with the mask and it was funny. Those are the biggest luchadors I've ever seen in my life, right?
Yeah, about half foot taller than all the guys in the ring.
Oh my goodness, were they ever, right? And Andrade's 6'1", so I can only, I'm 6'1" too, so I can only imagine how big those two dudes are
And they're
compared,
thick too, right?
right? Yeah, so I mean, the right guys won. It was a fun match. I mean, that's basically what it was, and you had those guys come out there. All right, let's move on. Jade Cargill, Naomi, Bianca Belair defeated Damage Control, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota. Um, I don't know, man. I thought it was a decent match. It was a good way to
Yeah.
introduce Jade Cargill. I mean, she is the future. She looks like it. You had the veteran, you got the one that's in the place right now, and you got the future. So I kind of liked how that kind of worked out. Jade, in my opinion, will work better as a heel. So I figure in a couple months' time, you'll probably see that transition and get into a program with Bianca. I kind of see that kind of where that's going. But for tonight, they did what they had to do. They ended the story. They beat Damage Control finally after running, buckshot on the organization and SmackDown for 2 years like that. They finally came through and got that story ending kind of victory. So let's see where they kind of go from here.
But the
I
one
mean,
thing about WrestleMania, underlying theme starting from night one all the way into is all too predictable. Everybody who you mostly thought was going to win ended up winning, and that hurt both cards.
well, I mean, it is what it is, bro. I mean,
There's another underlying theme. I'm kind of jumping the gun here, but the Triple H came out for night one. Kind of throwing a little bit of shade, and you know who. Night two, his wife comes out there, throws shade at Pops, and then yesterday on Raw, he starts it again, and he threw a little bit of shade. And there's an underlying theme here. They're putting themselves over at nauseum. I thought 3 nights in a row, you got two Triple H's and one Steph. But when Steph said, "I've been a part of every WrestleMania," well, no, you haven't. You were a little kid sitting on your dad's lap. I mean, I guess you were there. You weren't really a part of it. You were sitting there. And this is the WrestleMania you're most proud of because your husband's in charge of the backstage. That was a shot right at her dad. And I don't think a lot of people, the dirt writers, picked up on that, but she came out there to throw shade at Vinny Boy. And
I don't know if they were throwing shade or not, but I mean, I could see it being
absolutely
as
she
that.
was. She said, I'm most proud of this WrestleMania. Well, your husband didn't create nothing. He just got the
Well,
spot.
they got to promote. I get what you're saying, but
But
I
they
also
put
feel
themselves over at nauseum, and I only heard one blogger actually write about that. I thought this is exactly what I was thinking. We get it. It's a new era. Stop putting yourselves over. They did it 3 nights in a row. A little bit too much. I had to say that. But anyways, keep going on the next match.
all right, man. Sami Zayn, Gunther, match of the night for me. I mean, these guys delivered. Gunther is just a beast. The right guy won here. This is perfect. This allows Gunther now to move up the ladder a
You're
little.
right. In the moment on night one, that was the best match, and the right guy won. However, if you follow the Raw, it was a weak booking. Following up, Gunther wasn't even on Raw, and now you have Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. So if you're gonna let Gunther lose to a guy half his size, and Gunther's a big bad dude, he should have been out on Raw, beating up Sami Zayn, beating up everybody, kind of like the Brothers of Destruction used to do. They got involved in every Raw after WrestleMania, beat up everybody on every match because they were so pissed off that they lost. And then this guy loses to Sami Zayn, and then he is not on Raw.
Well, there was a lot of people that
That's
weren't on
bad
Raw,
booking.
man.
That's
I mean,
bad
Seth.
booking, though.
Well,
I,
Seth wasn't on Raw. Becky wasn't
no, I
on
know, but
Raw.
Seth is taking him. If Gunther just lost to Sammy, and then you send your two little minions out there, you're the big boss. You should have been there. And I thought, yes, Sammy, that was the best match night. But following the Raw up to that without having Gunther there, I didn't like that.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I mean, it's a matter of
But it was a
opinion,
good
but
match.
the match was solid. Gunther again proved like he is that Chalana guy, especially for a big man. He can make other people look really good. Not
Yep.
saying that Sammy needs that help, but when you have two guys who can work properly the way they can work.
And remember, Sami Zayn is so strong. He only needed 1 week of training, and boom, he was able to beat the Almighty.
You know what? It's a story, though, right? I mean,
No, I know.
it's
It's just
basically
so
the
funny.
story. I get it, though, man. I
Cheesy.
mean, if you look back at wrestling in general, we can laugh at most of the
No,
stories.
I know, but I'm
happen,
talking in
right?
the moment. Like, they would have had Gunther come out on Raw and chase him down or beat some guys up because he's so mad he lost to this twerp. But
Yeah.
he wasn't even there, and I thought that was.
I'll be
They
honest,
dropped the
man.
ball there.
Last 2-3 years, I haven't put much solace in the Raw afterwards. There was a moment there where it was huge and it meant something. Even this crowd, like it was loud and everything, but didn't have that, after 28-30 feeling. You know what I mean? Like that the whole Monday night after Raw doesn't have that feeling anymore, in my opinion. I think people are just too bloody tired. I mean, you got so much happening. And to nightcap it with that Raw. If anything, I feel that Raw should not be in the same city as the event. I mean, let's look at that. Let's think about it. They had the whole weekend started with that WWE Expo that they had going on. So that was, you're busy there all day. Then you got Friday night, you got SmackDown, then you have the Hall of Fame. Remember, this is Eastern time. So no one's leaving that arena till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Then they're all going back, all hyped up, probably can't sleep, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get back to the stadium for stand and deliver at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then you got a few hours to kill. Then you got night one, then you got night two, then you got Monday Night Raw. Like, I almost feel like, you know what? It all works up until Monday Night Raw, and they need to move that, I believe. That's just my thinking.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the main event of the night. And I had a lot of high hopes for this. Now, first thing that both of us noticed, three of them looked amazing. One looked a little flabby. I know you're the body guy, and that's why I kind of picked up on it. It was weird to see Seth looking kind of, tired. Well, I mean, he is tired. He's beaten up, right? But I mean, Roman looked amazing.
So he's the best shape of anybody out there by far.
Right? And that's saying something because Roman doesn't normally look like that. That's the Rock effect, in my opinion. I mean, he had to look, he had to do something, right? But overall, you know what? Rock looked good. He moved, he took bumps, great. The match was good. It wasn't a bad match. It's just for whatever reason, it didn't live up to the hype that I thought it was going to live up to. I really believe what we're seeing here is the new beginning of Austin and McMahon. I know I'm throwing out those two big names, but you were looking at something similar here with The Rock taking that kind of role. And it was really evident in the match where he kept telling the referee what he's supposed to do, or if he didn't, he's going to get fired. Very corporate McMahon, very, heelish McMahon kind of character, which we're
the only problem is Cody Rhodes is one of the most boring guys in the mic. He doesn't have that charisma like a Stone Cold. So I don't think they can get quite to that level, but I see what you possibly are saying. It could go that way. The match wasn't bad. They just guys don't have a lot of chemistry together, right? I mean, Rock has never wrestled these guys, so I mean, he did good. He looked good. He moved well. It wasn't a bad match. I mean, it's a good way to end night one. It's just hard to capture that. They didn't really have that chemistry. They kind of just threw it all together there. And it was too obvious that Rock was going to pin Cody. That took away from the match. Maybe if Roman would have pinned Seth, or they could have done something different. But it was, I get why they did it, but it was just took away from night one because the outcome was so obvious.
Well, the outcome was obvious, but they're also trying to put in place everything else for night two. Seth with the bad knee, this and that, trying to put it all over. There was a lot there to unpack. There was a lot there that they had to do. Overall, look, night one was good. I'm not going to shit on it. I thought it was fun. The matches were good. Majority of them delivered what as they were supposed to deliver it, as I expected them to deliver. Right. Lackluster in the sense that they just couldn't get it off the ground. I keep saying that, but I just felt like they elevated it a bit, but it just didn't feel like a night one of WrestleMania. I mean, if anything, you could have done it. It could have been a Raw, like you said, a Raw SmackDown with 68,000 people in there. You know what I mean?
My first thought when night one was over, I was like, thank God this is over. It was 4 hours. It wasn't very good. A couple like the tag match was good. The Gunther match was good. Everything else was, I mean, the tag match, just wasn't great. There's no other way to
Oh,
slice it. They didn't deliver
I looked at my
whatever it
clock.
was.
I looked at my watch. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Looking at the time, and then realizing this match didn't actually start till 8 o'clock, and it took like a half an hour
Yeah,
for
that's
them
too
all to
long.
come to the ring and this and that. And I think a lot of that's The Rock's fault, in my opinion, just walking out there so slow. Even Undertaker would have gotten there faster than you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but that all being said, I mean, like we're dipping big back and forth, but let's quickly touch on that since we're in that moment. That first hour of Raw, first 45 minutes of Raw, I was cringing.
Well, dude, that segment between The Rock and Cody is one of the worst segments I've ever seen The Rock be in. It was awkward. I don't usually agree with the fans, but they said it was awkward, the belt thing. I'm not sure why he had to do that. Let me hold your belt, hold my belt. Was
Yeah, all that kind of was, but
that
what
was
I think
weird.
what really got me was the crowd just wouldn't stop. Like, let them talk, right? And they kept feeding off of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's that tactic, in my opinion, is something you do when you're coming back.
Yeah, I know.
At this stage, you guys have had so much interaction, this and that. You don't need to have those big silent moments where the crowd just kind of dictates. And I
Yeah,
started,
Rock could have talked a few times and he just can't let. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
right. And I started getting pissed off at the crowd, like, shut up, like, stop, like, just let
That
them
was
get
not a
on
good
with this,
segment.
right?
I thought at first this was going to be amazing, and then you watch it
Yeah.
like, get this over. This sucked. It
Well,
was
I mean, the
garbage.
ending was kind of cool. They kind of set it all up. We know what kind of direction they're kind of going in. Like it sucked when my little one, little Miss is saying, "Daddy, this is taking too long."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And
this.
Rock, I don't know what it was. Like, I guess it didn't go as he thought because usually the Rock's in there, he just kills it in there. But it's hard to work with Cody because Cody's not good at his words. He's not good on the mic. But
Yeah,
it's
but
hard to work
he
with
didn't
that
even
guy.
speak a. But Cody didn't even speak a single word, man. This is
I know
all
he just stood
Rock,
there.
right? He just stood there because he's waiting. Like even he looked like, "Come on, say something,"
Let's
right? Like,
go.
but you could just like, I don't know, man. That at that time, that promo did not work. And I
No,
think that really hurt the show overall
I
because
was surprised because it looked like it would be good. You figure it would be, but it just didn't deliver.
yeah. All right, night two, let's get to it. Let's open up the results. Now, night two, in my opinion, was WrestleMania,
Yeah, that was a good.
right? Night two was WrestleMania. Night two was the saving grace of both nights. Uh, night one was a cash grab. Really, that's all
Yeah,
it was to me. This was WrestleMania. We start off with the World Heavyweight Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. And very interesting. I thought this thing was going to go 20, 25 minutes, but no, man, they only went 10 minutes and 15 seconds. And it was a power match. It was,
exactly. Something that's all you need. Short, quick,
yeah,
boom, get down to it. They got right down to business. It was a
right?
hell of a match. Those
Match
claymores were brutal.
Claymore, match open with the Claymore, and then went to a stomp, and then went to pedigrees. It was basically finisher after finisher, power move after power move of 10 minutes of just brutality that way. Seth did the best he could, but you could tell he was really, really broken, like legit
Mm-hmm.
going into this as well. Um, you know, you had Punk on commentating. I know you have a lot to say about the man. We'll just save for that.
Yep.
But Punk was on commentary, and if anything, he was a participant. It's like a triple threat with him just being at ringside.
Yeah.
And I love what they're doing here. I get it, and the Drew was the right guy to win, but they're building that story, and sometimes at the expense of things, you got to build that story. And the story here is like, yeah, Seth was, all the talk was Seth being preoccupied with the bloodline, this and that, but not putting enough onus on how preoccupied Drew McIntyre was with CM Punk there. So you get a lot of these times where he could have probably finished the match, but because his attention's diverted, gave Seth that opportunity to get in, because that match should have been a total domination and annihilation, right? Based on his
Yeah.
health and everything. And they were going in that direction, but every time he got close to finishing it, he'd be pointing over to Punk or chit-chatting with Punk, giving Seth enough time to kind of get back into it. Drew wins, and he plays off like a face, right? Winning the title, emotional, hands it to his wife, and then he gets back into character and he goes right into Punk's face, calls him a bunch
I
of
thought
names.
that was kind of weak. I loved he's one of my favorites. Sitting on his knees like that, kind of in there. I thought that was kind of cheesy.
But I think it's just the emotion of it all. I mean, I get it, but I mean, in that moment, I mean, who's to say how one of us would react when we win a world title if we were ever in that position, right? So I get it from that perspective, but but I think it's also part of what he was trying to do. Like, I'm so happy I won, and then he sees Punk and he gets right in his face and he calls him names, and Punk's doing nothing. Leg sweep, hit with the brace. Here comes Damian Priest. We were talking about it. When's this guy going to cash in? He's got a few months left. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I mean, based on what Punk did to him and beat him up a little bit that he did, took his distraction away, took his attention away from what was happening. 5 minutes and 45 seconds later, we have a new world champion in Damian Priest, the second Puerto Rican after Pedro Morales. You got some thoughts on this?
I actually feel bad for Damian. I don't think Damian Priest is a champion at all. But besides that, he's a champion. I got no say in that. But I actually feel bad for the guy because if you go online, he's getting a lot of hate. And on Instagram, X, Facebook, a lot of the fans who are the IWC guys, the Mark guys, they're calling him the bisexual Undertaker. That is trending. That's a new thing they're calling him. I don't know if they're going to start. They probably won't chant that at Raw, but this is not just like a couple goofballs saying it. This is like thousands and thousands of people. Bisexual Undertaker. He's a bisexual Undertaker. That's what they're calling him now. And then people are saying, don't call him that. And you get like 1,000 likes. It's all over WWE. Go on their online feeds and see it. So
I mean, well,
he's not a well-liked guy. They're forcing it. He's not a champion. He can't talk. He doesn't work that well. He's big. I like that. But other than that, I get it. Don't blame them for letting him cash in. He's got to cash it in, or that Money in the Bank is useless. So I don't blame him how they did it. Not a bad story, but this guy is not a champ, and he won't be champ for long.
Well, I mean, I think I said.
And I hate to say it like that, but I have to tell the truth.
Well, I think when we talked about it, he is a transitional champion. I hate to say that right off the bat. I mean, it's just what it is.
It is.
Right? But at the same time, I feel like I gotta give him an opportunity to see what he can do with it. The little time.
I wish him the best, but just looking at it right now, he just doesn't. He can't talk.
Well, let's see what he does. Right? I mean, his first opponent is going to be Jey Uso. Jey won the Fatal 4-Way last night. Again, Punk coming up.
That's what Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. This is the battle of the mid card guy. This is terrible for me.
Well, like I said, it's a transitional moment. We got other guys coming up. They're going to play hard. We just got to see how it unpacks, right? I mean, that's just why I look at it. I mean, I can't be too critical on it yet until I see a little bit more. But I know
this is like seeing the Cleveland Browns versus the Atlanta Falcons. It's just like, what the heck? Nobody wants to see this. And Uso versus Priest, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's like I said, it's just something to get their feet wet. Let's see where they go with this. I mean, there's a lot here. I mean, we're just coming off of everything, right? And the draft's coming up, so let's see where all this kind of goes. Who's going to go where? So yeah. I mean, what can you say, man? What can I say? What can anybody say? It is what it was. It happened that way. But again, I think all of this is just to further the other story along a bit more, to build on that.
I get it, but they expect us to buy a pay-per-view watch Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Like, come on, guys. Only the hardcores are going to be into that. Nobody, the average Joe, the guys that watch WrestleMania, nobody cares about Damian Priest versus Jey. So they have to understand that. And they will when they see the numbers on this one.
Look, and again, I don't see this being on a pay-per-view or anything. So this will be like one of those Monday Night Raw matches. I mean, we do have Backlash coming up May 4th from France. If you're going to put it on a pay-per-view card, put it on that one. Let's see how it goes, right? I mean, eventually it's got to happen, right? I mean, if you look at what's there right now, Gunther, I don't think is ready yet. He needs a little bit more time to bring him there. He's there. Don't get me wrong, but you just don't throw him in a heavyweight title match right away, right? And he
would do a heck of a lot better than Damian Priest. I'll tell you that.
Well, hey, first off, you got to show up at Raw to be a part of that, right? He was.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I don't understand that.
Well, I guess I can understand it from the sense of like, okay, you had a guy. Interestingly enough, the number that they kept saying 666. I love that. I mean, I don't know if they're playing with that number or tying it into something else that they want to do, but I mean, just the number 666. I mean, that's how long his reign was. It's almost befitting that he would lose it on such an auspicious number, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand that emotion, right? Like, I mean, okay, I've just been champion for over 600 days. You know, I need a day to kind of take a moment just to kind of breathe and
Yeah, but when you lose to a guy who's considered a wimp and you
yeah,
don't show up the next night on Raw, even if he beats you, that's fine. But you should be out there chasing him down, chase your next opponent, looking strong, and then he's
yeah,
not there. I think
I
they
get
dropped the
it.
ball with that.
I get it, but I mean, what can you do? All right, let's move on. The Pride, Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, against the Final Testament, AP or the Arthurs of Pain and Karrion Cross. Basically, a feud that's been going on for a few months had its ending at WrestleMania. The good guys won. I'll leave it at that. I mean, the highlight for me was Montez's forward leap outside of the ring where he goes over the ring post. And then that
Yep.
takes timing to get your hands there to elevate you. You know what I mean? That was a beautiful move. I mean, outside of that, I mean, it was basically what I thought it
I got
was.
a couple things to take away. Totally different take. That was the best move of the night. I feel bad for Bobby Lashley having to go against Karrion Cross or AOP. How is he fell down the food chain? I feel bad for him there because Karrion Cross and AOP, they stink straight out. I hate to say it. Best part of this match, hands down, and he is a better commentator than Pat McAfee. Snoop Dogg was great on commentating. He was funny. He tells it like he's talking like a fan. He's talking like a real guy in the crowd watching it. He's not yelling. He's not being fake, hooting and hollering like McAfee, looking like a goofball. That commentary from Snoop Dogg was actually very good. It was funny. It's a
Yeah,
breath of fresh air. The best part of the match, if you actually go back and listen to Snoop Dogg's commentating from Triller a few years ago, he did a boxing thing there. He's funny. He talks like a regular guy watching how you would if you're having a beer with your buddy watching it.
yeah,
And he's a better commentator than Pat McAfee.
he
It was
comes
good.
off he comes off as a casual fan commentating. Like his commentating is very general.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's not very,
refreshing to hear that.
but it's fun. It's fun.
It's awesome.
Totally agree.
I'll take Snoop Dogg casual general any day than McAfee dancing and yelling. Like, McAfee doesn't know anything about wrestling. If you actually listen to the guy talk, he doesn't really know much about wrestling, probably as much as Snoop Dogg does. I bet you Snoop Dogg knows more because he's older and was watching it back. I mean, McAfee is just he's an obnoxious guy. But great job by Snoop Dogg, great commentating, hilarious as heck, and probably the best part of the match.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, it was what it was. All right, LA Knight, AJ Styles. I really enjoyed this match. This
Yeah,
was
it's
kind
good.
of a sleeper match. Both guys really, really performed. And as I said to you on the phone afterwards, AJ to me is one of those like guys like Brett, Sean, Ric Flair that can make anyone look good in the ring. You know what I mean? They have that potential. Not to take anything away from LA Knight, he is a pretty good worker, but having the opportunity to work with AJ really elevated him, made him look good. I think the right guy won here. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know they he still has that momentum. The crowd's still into him, right? So he hasn't fizzled out or anything. So they've kept him live. Where he goes from here, I don't know. Where does AJ go from here? I don't know, but we have a full AJ heel, new theme music. He's angry AJ, and he has stated him and Cena both kind of commented over the weekend that this is, you know, they're near the end of their careers here. You know, I don't see Cena going to AEW or anything retires,
No.
but you know what? I'll be honest, man, and we've debated this a little bit based on this weekend and stuff. I don't see AJ going there either. If he says he's going to
If
retire,
anybody goes to AEW, AJ is the AEW guy.
he
If
would.
anybody is, it's him.
But
The
I
problem
also
with AJ is I gotta give him credit. He came back looking buff. He's in better shape than he's
looks
ever been.
great.
Finally got in shape in his mid-40s, but at least he did it. He's
Yeah.
got no charisma and he can't talk. That's what holds him back. But Cena is WWE through his blood. AJ, you could see him in AEW possibly, but maybe not. But either way, he works good. He's a
No,
hell
he
of a
works
worker.
great, but I have a feeling, and you know, if you want, we can make a friendly wager on it. Coke Zero versus Pepsi Zero. You know, a 6 pack of that. Let's see if AJ goes to AEW after he retires. Deal?
Done. Yeah, I think he will.
All right.
He's more of an
I,
indie guy.
I say that he's going to be one of those few guys, aka Shawn Michaels. When he retires, he retires. You know, and
But
Shawn.
no, Michaels came back
No,
though.
no, 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 no. But it took him like 15 years to convince him to take that stupid match.
Yeah.
and he never did it again, right?
Who, Michaels?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the Saudi prince wanted him. Vince offered him
Right,
the big
right,
pay. He
right. But
couldn't
I
turn
mean,
it down.
up until that very moment, Michael was the only guy who ever retired from wrestling, stayed retired,
Yep.
right? And in essence, even in that match, I don't even call it a return match. It was just money in his pocket.
Yeah, but he still
Right?
broke it
I
though.
get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But I think AJ is very similar to that thinking, and Elk, where he'll just like, if I'm done, I'm done. Right. I
Could
mean,
be.
he could sign a new contract with WWE. I'm sure they'd want him right away, but we'll touch on the AEW stuff here as well in a minute. All right, Logan Paul defeated Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a triple threat match. I mean, that was a good match.
Oh, heck yeah.
It was a solid match. I loved the interaction between Kevin and Randy right up until where they touched, and even when they did get into it, should we do it now? Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? It's like that's the veteran mentality that we know we're gonna have to fight eventually. Why beat each other up if we're friends until we get to that point,
Yeah.
right? And I loved how Logan was trying to sell it. He jumped out the ring. Okay, guys, fight. And they're like, no, we're not gonna fight. We'll beat you up first. And
Yeah.
it's basically a 2-on-1 for most of the night. And Logan kind of came out of it and um athletic as hell, man. I mean, this kid
Oh,
can move.
he's one of the best athletes in all of wrestling. The thing I
Yep.
love about this match is looking at the canvas. The marks in the IWC hated that prime model being there. It drove him nuts. It drove him nuts seeing the prime turnbuckles, and it also drove them nuts when Logan Paul won the match. Great match. He did some amazing frog splash. It was a great match. All three of them
Look,
worked well
I
together.
I think
Well
I
done.
think I think I think Logan really, really benefited. One thing he's benefiting from is being able to work with such really high caliber guys that can really help him and learn his craft as he's going. I mean, this is a dude who's learning on the go, right? I mean, for the most part.
Think about this.
Um,
Eric Bischoff said it best. This is only Logan Paul's 12th professional match, and he's better than 95% of the roster in ring and on the mic. He's just a natural.
I'm not gonna knock him for his natural ability, but the one benefit that Logan Paul has, every match he's in, he has enough time to work on it to make it work. Where most competitors
Mm-hmm.
get into the ring and just do. You know what I mean? So I mean, he does have that benefit
Yeah,
of
but if you could give that to a guy like Dominic, and he'll never perform as good as Logan. Dominic
no,
could
but I
train with
mean,
Shawn Michaels every day and wrestle Lance Storm and Bret Hart. He would never compare to what Logan can do because he's a
you know what
natural
though?
athlete.
I think Dom's come a long way from where he started to where he is now.
Yeah, but he's not on Logan level though.
Yeah, but I
Right?
think Logan gets a lot. Look, dude, I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Logan. All I'm trying to say is Logan has that opportunity to work on these matches longer than everyone else. That's all I'm saying. That helps him a lot in terms of because he's not there all
Absolutely,
the
but you
time.
could take anybody else and give them that spot, and they wouldn't be able to perform like Logan performs. So they train every day with Orton and Michaels, whoever. You got to be able to execute it.
No,
You
no,
could
hey,
take guys from the indie crowd. They
yeah,
would never be able to do what he does.
yeah.
I
Now,
mean, the guy is a phenomenal athlete,
who
brilliant businessman. He's in great shape.
who
He's
is I
tall. He's
show
got it
speech?
all.
Who is this I show speech? Like this is the only thing I don't like about it.
He's a very popular streamer. All the kids love him. That's why he was there.
Okay, the guy
Millions and
looks like
millions
a
of
jackass.
followers.
Me,
Huh?
the guy looks like a jackass.
Yeah,
In
but
my
he's got a big following for the kids. So I
I
get
get
why
it.
they
I
did
get
that.
it.
He's
And
an
it's not my
influencer.
generation. Obviously, I understand that completely. But just looking at it from a middle-aged, grumpy old man now, in terms of that way, I just saw the guy looking like an idiot, man. I think barking at Norton. Come on, man.
That's what he was doing though. That's what he was
Right?
supposed to do.
But I get it, right? So, all right, right guy won. Everything happened there.
Yep.
One of my favorite moves of the match. I have flowers are due where flowers are due. The man did an amazing flip into the ring where he transitioned into a standing frog splash. Love that move.
Oh
Really
yeah,
good.
it was sick.
So good stuff there, man.
Good.
All right, let's get into it. One of the best matches of the weekend, in my opinion, Io Sky versus Bailey. Wow, what a good
Good
match.
match.
The match was solid. These girls were working hard. This is what I wanted to see from Becky and
It was
Rhea.
the best women's match on Mania by far, not even close.
I mean, considering there was only two or well,
Yeah,
three,
I
right?
was
Yeah.
surprised at that. There's a difference here. When Vinny was booking the last few Manias, he would like even it out.
Well,
The new regime is more like it's a little more heavy. The men doing more matches than the women. I noticed that last few pay-per-views.
well, I mean, it's how it's translating on what they're getting done on the regular shows too, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
the girls need to step up. I mean, I'll say this: they have the talent in both promotions, SmackDown, Raw, to do some really crazy stuff. you got to get some of these girls to start stepping up now. Now we're seeing it a little bit with Johnny's wife. What's her name? Um, okay, she's the blonde girl with the other one. Oh, what's her name? I'm sorry, guys.
You talking about Johnny Gargano's wife?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I didn't even know he's married to her.
Yeah. She's kind of going heel now, right? Like, doing heel tactics and everything. What's her name?
I don't know.
She's with the Australian girl.
I'm not
Uh,
sure, dude.
wow, I can't believe I'm flubbing this up. But anyways, the girls need to step up on both sides, right?
Yep.
Rhea can only do so much. And I loved what Liv did last night, attacking her with the chair, coming out looking a little vicious like that. The other girls need to elevate themselves there right now, right?
Totally agree.
And
Yeah.
then we'll see where they go. They have the talent in there. They have all the right pieces to make it happen. But Bailey won. Really happy for her. If anyone on that roster deserved flowers for WrestleMania, it was her. The way she carried the promotion through the pandemic. Unfortunately, she got hurt at the wrong time. The woman hasn't had a belt since 2021. Perfect timing. Io was amazing. She looked great too. Like she was in shape.
They
Uh,
work well together. They got good chemistry.
right? They have really good chemistry. Where does it go from here? I don't know. Right. But let's see what SmackDown delivers. But this was a good match. The right girl won. Really happy for Bailey to
Oh, it
see
was a
what
good
she
match. Yeah.
does. Right. All right. That leads us right into the main event of the night. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, title on the line, everything on the line. First 20 minutes of this match was basically one-on-one. It was
It
nothing,
was good. It was good. It
it
was
was
good.
solid. The one thing I really enjoyed, it was crack me up because I've never, maybe I've seen this, but I don't recall it. Cody pulled out a table. And then when Roman saw it, he took it and put it back underneath nicely. Like, it's just so funny. Like, no tables, no tables. Like,
Yeah.
like Roman's saying, I'll let you know when we're going to have tables and stuff like that, right? Throughout the whole match. They took it out of the ring. They went into the crowd a bit. I mean, a little bit of spots here and there, but overall, for the first 20 minutes of this match, you basically had a fair one-on-one match. No one was ringside. Nobody was there. But then everything kind of starts, right? Jimmy comes out, attacks Cody. That brings out Jay. Those guys fight up the stage, have that spectacular spot.
That was a
Uh,
good spot.
that was a good spot, and then that took them out of the equation. All right, we get back to Cody and Roman again. They're doing their thing. Well, here's Solo. Solo comes out, tries to do his thing, gets the spear, and I thought this was over at this point when he did the spear spike combo, which normally puts out most guys. Cody kicks out at 2. Cena music's hit. Cena comes out, takes out Solo. They have history, obviously, so he's taking out the guy that took him out. They eliminate each other. We're going back and forth, and now comes the final boss, and this is the quickest I think The Rock made it to the ring throughout this whole program. Comes in there, starts doing his thing to Cody. Dong, lights go out. Now, I think personally this was where Stone Cold was supposed to come, but hey, you
Maybe.
can't go wrong with the Taker. And here's something I noticed, and I saw a little meme of it this morning. As big as The Rock looked, The Undertaker still looked bigger. Now, I don't think he's in the same shape
No,
as
he's
The
not. He's just
Rock,
tall. Yeah.
but he's just tall and wide, but he still looked bigger than The Rock,
Yeah.
right?
There's a few takes on the why Stone Cold was there. We're getting that after we break this match down.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, you want me to finish?
Yeah, we'll finish the match. I'll tell you why
Okay, okay.
why they think Stone Cold didn't show.
Yeah, so you had that happen. They eliminated each other, and that was basically it. Cody gets his third, fourth, fifth win, whatever it is at this time. 3 Cody cutters done. 1, 2, 3. Roman is smiling. If you look, there's some pictures of him actually smiling as a sense of relief, like it's over.
Yeah,
But
I thought that was bad. Like, dude, you just lost the title
yeah,
and you're relieved.
well, maybe
Like that. You close
that.
your mouth and wait, dude. Like, come on.
Well, I don't know, man. Who knows what the emotion was? Maybe.
But the thing is, like, in Reigns noticed that too. My son noticed that. So when you see that, the
Yeah.
kids start thinking this is fake. He just got his butt whooped. He's hurt, and he loses the belt, and he's happy about it. That's like happy if you lose a Super Bowl. I thought that was so lame.
I think it was just caught in the moment. I don't think it was intentionally done for the
Either
cameras.
way, you got to know better as a pro, dude.
You would figure so. You would figure so.
You just are about to set a world record for having the belt for the longest.
Yeah.
You just lost to a guy half your size who cries all the time,
Yeah.
and you're smiling when you lose.
Well,
Well, how do you expect anybody to take you serious, bro?
here's the thing. Now, this is all done. WrestleMania is over. Everyone comes to the ring. This is the first time everyone's kind of come to the ring to congratulate the champion since WrestleMania 10 when Brett beat Yoko finally. You had everyone come out. Here's the interesting thing, and I mentioned this to you, and you didn't notice it at the time.
Mhm.
Everyone that came to the ring to congratulate him were majority of them, 99% of everyone in there were all guys that fought Roman throughout his entire 3-year reign
Yeah,
and lost. Cena, Orton, Sammy, Kevin. Why is LA Knight out there? He had nothing to do with this storyline in
because
any.
he's just a fanboy.
But there you go. But these are the guys that Roman went through, in essence, right? Jay.
Yeah,
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Um, an emotional moment, I get it. But the real
yeah,
emotion, like Roman was definitely upset afterwards. Like they showed him all at the top of the stage with the wise man and doing all his thing there.
yeah. But that's what. So that, thanks for bringing that up. So you just smile there. That you smile. Who loses and smiles? Not a serious competitor. So that looks weak. And then you stomp up the ramp, and then you're all pissed off. But yet, a minute ago you were smiling. That was bad, 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 bad. He should
Again,
have got scolded for that. He should know
again,
better.
again, I know what you're saying completely. I don't think that was supposed to be picked up.
It
That just
wasn't, but I'm saying
yeah.
that he should know
But
better. You're a pro.
with
You know
with
better.
with the amount of cameras that you have in the stadium clicking shots, you got to think better than that. I get you.
Absolutely. You just don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do
All right.
that backstage. I get it. You're relieved. You're tired. I get all that. But you
Okay.
are playing a character. And when an 8-year-old kid can see this is why people laugh at wrestling. You just lost the most prized belt in wrestling and you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not
Well,
a serious competitor. You're supposed to be the tribal chief and you're laughing like it's a joke.
yeah. Well, final
Yeah.
thoughts. Here we go. Overall, I would say WrestleMania was a 7 because night 2 really brought it
But
up
it
and
was good.
made it work. Again, I know night 1 is a cash grab. Unless they do something to make it a bit better next year, I don't think night 1 is necessary. I think you can get everything done in one night the way it's supposed to be.
Cut some of the matches out of night 1. It doesn't need to be 4 hours. Maybe you could do it in 3 hours. Trim some of the fat, make it a little more of a
Yeah,
buster.
yeah.
Or spread the matches out. Don't stack night 2. Divvy it out a little bit. So night 1
You
and night
have
2 are
to.
more even.
You have to. Let's see what they do that they can learn
Yeah.
from this. 7 out of 10 for me. I had no problems. But before we move on to AEW, even though this is WrestleMania preview review show, we have to touch on that a little bit. Very quickly, tell me why Stone Cold wasn't there. What do you
Well,
have?
this is what they're saying
Yeah.
is he didn't suppose who knows, it could be all crap. You never know with these people. But they're basically saying that he did want to do it, but he didn't want to do it with John Cena coming out there and Uso and Soldier Sequoia. See, Austin is, if you look at this, and this makes sense, he's the most protective of his character most of any guys. He'll only do certain things if it's right for him, and he's the one. He didn't want to be in there Soldier Sequoia and Uso guys because I don't know. He looks like they're below him, So he was going to do it, but just going to be him and The Rock. But when he heard about Cena and everybody else, he said, "No, that's too many people. This doesn't fit my character and my mold." He's so protective of his character, and that's why he didn't do it.
All right, fair enough. And I'm not going to shit on the man. He's earned every right and every
Yeah, I don't blame
that he
him.
has.
Like, I mean, and I got to bring this up, and this lead me thinking another thing. Stone Cold is so protective of his character, more than Hogan, more than Flair, more than Cena, more than Rock. You look at Raw last night. What the heck is John? We're calling John Cena he's not, but if they say he's the greatest of all time, right? You're the greatest of all time, and you're standing in a ring with freaking JD McDonough. Talk about watering down your character and bringing it down. Stone Cold may be too protective. John Cena is not protective of his character. What are you doing standing with JD McDonough? You should only be in there against high caliber guys. That looks weak. I had to point that out.
Fair enough. I don't think it was weak myself personally. I just kind of something for the fans myself. I know what you're saying. I get it,
But
but
it waters him down.
well, I mean, I think he's already watered down every return. He's kind of come back in the last
But at
couple of
least
years,
if you're
right?
going to go against the up and comer, future star, and JD McDonough, come on, dude.
Yeah,
You're
but he
never going to
still
see
got the
Stone.
win.
You're never going to see Stone Cold or Hulk
Get
Hogan
it?
stand in the ring with that guy
I get it. I get it.
because there's
He
levels to
got the
this.
win. He got the win. But if you look at the Cena character overall, I mean, in the last couple of years, I mean, this is the first match he's won in almost 3 years, man.
No,
Right? So
I'm not saying that, but he's watering it down. Look at the caliber of
but
guys
he's
you're in the
already
ring.
watering his character down by losing all the time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no. But what I'm saying is, you're supposed to be an elite great, and then you're standing in there with these bums. It's a bad look.
Fair
If we're
enough,
gonna
man.
say he is one of the greatest of all time. Stone Cold is a little too protective. He would never step in. He would never stand in ring with Jimmy Gunn. He wouldn't. He couldn't even barely get him to do the main event, do that whole scenario because there's too many guys in there. You didn't want to do all that. And then you got John Cena. I get he's more of a fun going guy, but it waters it down when I see that. It takes away from the greatness and that special feel.
Okay, you know what though? At the end of the day, if you look at both those guys, and they're both great in their own senses, and I'm shitting on nobody, but I mean, if you think of who's more of a company man, I'd have to say Cena is at any
Oh,
time, right?
absolutely. Stone
Right?
Cold quick. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about characters
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
I get it.
greatness and who you're standing with. And you're standing with freaking JD McDonough. That guy's shouldn't even be in the ring
Well,
on
I mean,
WWE.
to be fair, he was there to support the Miz and R-Truth.
No,
So,
I know, but it just waters you down. You're John Cena.
all right, all right. We're running out of time here, but we got to touch on this really quick. So, Dynamite, AEW, every other promotion in the world kind of takes a back seat to the WWE at this time of the year.
Yep.
I mean,
As
for
they
the most
should.
part, they do take a backseat to them every week, usually, anyways, but more so during this period of time. I don't know if this is to kind of promote their program, or I do know this is because of what Punk said on the MMA Hour. Tony Khan and AEW are going to release on Dynamite this week footage of the incident between Jack Perry and CM Punk. I don't know what they're going to show. I don't know what it is, but I mean, they're just trying to like. I get it. They're trying to, you say that Tony Khan's finally growing a pair.
Good
I
for him.
I think it's just a money grab to kind of.
Maybe, but good for him because we're talking about it. And now I want to watch Dynamite. I do anyways for the show,
Yeah,
but I really want to watch it now.
yeah.
CM Punk, you embarrassed Tony Khan in the press conference, and now you're still running your mouth. We get it. We know he's not a real boss, but you want to keep dogging him. Tony's probably like, I got to be, man. I'm this little twerp. Screw you there, Phil. Let's do it. Hopefully, there's some audio with this, not just the physical. I want to hear what they were saying. And let's see if CM Punk was telling the truth or he was lying. Great move by Tony Khan. I love this. Why not watch it? It's
Well,
cool.
video doesn't lie, but I think it kind of does lie because we do live in a world of AI. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
make that rhyme. So who knows what they're going to show us and what's real and what's not, what's fabricated. I mean, we won't know until we see what they show, right?
And
So,
even Edge came out, took a couple shots at CM Punk there a little bit.
well, they were in full damage control, man. I mean, they were in total damage control because I think a lot of what CM Punk said wasn't wrong either,
Oh, I
though,
say it all the time. I agree with him.
right? Like, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, Edge said, "This is why Christian is here. This is why I'm here. This is why all these veteran guys that wouldn't have got a contract from WWE, or if they did get the contract, they wouldn't be a seven-figure contract that they're getting from AEW, right? So, I mean, they're getting paid astronomical amount of money. They're not talking about that. I'm not shitting on these guys. Go where you have to go. Make your money. I get it, right? If you're on the back legs of your career and someone's offering you a truckload of money, you got to take it.
Absolutely.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can't fault the man, but be honest about it. You're not there because of the talent. The talent's still better where you came from,
Oh, yeah,
right?
WWE's the NFL, AEW,
Yeah.
CFL. There's only way to
Yeah,
assess
yeah, 100%. But they're paying WWE type money to a certain select few, right?
it.
You're going to being back at WWE if he wasn't getting seven-figure contract.
I said it before on the
Contract.
show. I said it. They should have never brought CM Punk in. The guy is a cancer. He is not a good guy. He's a bad guy. I don't care if he doesn't drink or smoke weed. He's a piece of crap. He's a bad guy to many, many people. Tony Khan can't control a guy like that. Should never have had him in there. I get it. He's cool. He's indie. He's punk rock. Look what the guy did to you, dude. And he's still doing it to you. So good for Tony Khan. Step up to this guy. Punk is a bully to little guys like Perry and Tony Khan. He'll never step up to a guy his size because he get crushed. He's a clown.
Fair play, man. Well, like I said,
And I'm not saying he's not a talented clown. He's good on
yeah,
the mic.
yeah.
He's broken down. He can't wrestle anymore. He can. Every time he's in the ring, he's hurt. He has a couple matches left, and his body's done. And he's been a bad guy for a long time. And he's talked a lot of smack. And good for Tony Khan for standing up for yourself and your company. Hopefully it's good, but hopefully it's not a dud. Hopefully they got something good on him.
Like I said, at this point, I have been let down by Tony Khan surprises, overall. Okay. And I'll go back to the death match that Kenny Omega and John Moxley were supposed to have. These things in Japan are next level. Okay. But that thing disappointed like nobody's business. And I think that was one of the first major disappointments that AEW ever delivered since their inception. And that hurt lot, like that, the way the ring exploded, this and that happened. Like, I don't want to see that stuff generally, but the way they were hyping it up, it looks so campy and cheesy, very similar to the Road Warrior gear that Moxley and
Oh,
what,
how do you
right?
think
But I'm
Vince
just saying,
McMahon would allow them to walk out like that?
no, no,
Come
no,
on.
no. But I'm just trying to give you an
I know.
example, right? Like how bad that was. And then when you do tune in to Dynamite, Tony Khan's got a major announcement. Like, okay, I'm excited. I want to check it out. Announcing some date at some venue. You know what I mean? Like it's
I know.
nothing. Like, so I hope this one actually hits, because for the most part they strike out with these moves. So I'm curious to see what they're going to show, because by doing this, they're opening up a Pandora's box of legality if it goes the wrong way.
And another thing, when Punk is saying, okay, well, you're only doing to a niche market, you only care about the indie stuff, you care about some goofballs 5-star Dave Meltzer, some 5-star match rating, you don't care about business. But dude, you hated WWE's big business model. You hated it, Punk, and you went to the indie scene with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. Cody Rhodes, people forget he was trash talking McMahon, Triple H, the big business model. Cody Rhodes helped create AEW. Him and the Young Bucks got Tony Khan to put the money up to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Cody was a crybaby, didn't get what he wanted, and he came back. Vince went to his house. Vince said, "Come here, I'll give you this. Come with us." Cody's a crybaby too, not just in the ring, outside of the ring, and so they're all bad mouthing each other. But at the end of the day, they all come home to the empire that Vince created, because that's the best company in the world.
I think when you leave and you see how it's done other places, you realize what you lost and what you gave up and what was right and wrong, right? I mean, you and I can go blue in the face and say this is this, and this is that. And most people will disagree with everything I'm saying. But 5 years down the road, like, oh shit, Samson was right.
Mhm.
You know? So, people are blinded by their own ideologies, blinded by what the majority are saying. I mean, most people are bloody sheep. I'm sorry to say that. Majority of the people in this world are sheep. One guy says this, everyone latches onto it.
You know
Right?
what? Tony Khan needs to get him back on it, and Triple H is sitting there saying, Triple H was taking shots at Will Ospreay and Khan without mentioning their names. Okay, why doesn't Tony come on and go, "Who are you, dude? You married Stephanie McMahon. You didn't get your spot. You got your spot through nepotism. You got kicked off the board. You're not on the board no more. You have no say in the business. Yes, you can book a Raw match or a WrestleMania match with Pritchard and Khan. You only married Steph. He needs to grow a backbone, create a fight with WWE,
The
and get
only
it on. Let's
problem,
go."
the only problem I have with what you just said, and I don't agree with you, I think it's a good move. It could be interesting. But you're talking about a guy who hasn't put a single cent of his own money in. Everything he's doing is funded by his
That's
father.
what's good. So they're both. So Triple H is living off his father-in-law. You're living off your dad. Two spoiled brats. Let's get at it.
Right?
Tony Khan,
But
start insulting them back.
for Tony Khan to kind of move on that, he needs to fill up the stadiums a little bit more and not be content
I
with
agree. WWE's kicking his
4,000.
butt, but fight back.
Fight back. But the only problem, it's hard to fight back when the argument will come back with what I just said. And the other thing is, the factual stuff is, AEW is in the red. There's no way they're making a profit off of anything.
But all he has to do, he's not attacking Vince. Vince built the house. All he has to do is attack Triple H.
No, I get
Listen,
it.
dude, you didn't create nothing.
Let's see where this goes, man. I mean, I think for this to be truly effective and an interesting feud, Dynamite has to be on Monday. It has to be head to head with Raw, or it has to be head to head with SmackDown. That's the only way it's going to work.
But he's getting a little bit of a backbone because he's going to try to show something on CM Punk. But dude, you're letting Triple H trash Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Fight back, dude. Tell Triple H you're a spoon-fed, spoiled brat. You got your spot because you married stuff, which is true.
Yeah.
Bret Hart, play the clip of Bret Hart a few months ago. He did you see that on Inside the Ropes? He said, Triple H has never had a good idea in his life. Play some of this stuff. Fire this up. Let's go.
I love Bret, but Bret's a really angry guy all the time, man.
You know what? I used to always defend Triple H when I heard all the stuff about him. Now that I hear about reaction talks, like he is a little bit of a spoiled brat. He is a little bit of a politicker. So, but Bret Hart
have to be at some point, bro. They all have to be at some point. But I tell you what, brother, man, we could probably go another hour just talking about
Tony Khan. Just fight back. Don't let them insult your company, especially CM Punk and especially Triple H, who are riding Vince's coattails. You're riding your dad's too. Start talking back and let's get some energy going. It's fun for the business.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun. All right, Mr. Michaels, WrestleMania is in the bag. The new year of wrestling has started. I don't think we both agree. I think we both agree that day one of the new year wasn't great. Let's see what they do on SmackDown. AEW looks
They'll get
interesting
it going.
tonight.
They got too
Yeah,
much
yeah,
talent.
yeah. SmackDown. I think I'm looking forward more to SmackDown this week. They have a little time to build that show. Maybe coming right off of WrestleMania into Raw is too much to kind of pull off. I don't know. My suggestion: don't have Raw in the same city as WrestleMania. Move it somewhere else.
Good
You have
idea.
fresher eyes, a fresher crowd. This crowd is beat up, man. As tired as everyone else
That's
was.
11 hours of wrestling. That's a lot. It's 15 if you throw in NXT. That's too much. Plus a Hall of Fame. It's a
Everything,
lot.
everything from Friday to Saturday to Sunday. That's just a lot to consume for anybody. But hey, those are just our ideas. Chance, I give it
Night two is great though. Night two is really good. They
yeah,
nailed it there.
yeah. 7 out of 10 for me. What about you?
You're talking both nights combined?
Combined WrestleMania overall.
Yeah. I'll give it. I agree with you. I'm on a 7. If you just give me night two, I give it 8.5.
Yeah.
7. 7's fair.
7.5.
Snoop Dogg, hilarious. If you guys didn't watch that match, listen to his commentating, man. It was fun. Just talking like a regular dude. It was cool. Cool to hear that.
Fun. It was fun. All right, brother man. I tell you what, this embarks the new journey of wrestling for us. Here we go. Everything's exciting. AEW. I'm actually looking forward to
Me
more.
too. Please, Tony Khan, do something good, my man.
Like
Get it back.
I almost
to the
felt
mat.
I almost felt that I felt like taking off the rest of the week of wrestling just because of so much.
Oh,
I will be there tomorrow night watching this, and let's hopefully it's something good.
I hope his dad calls him. Yo, Tony, defend my money, man. Get a backbone. Tell Triple H to shut him.
Shit, man. I mean, eventually at some point, I think Rashid's gonna have to take a look at the books and figure out what's going on, right? Because I mean, if Fulham does shit, if Jacksonville does shit, who's gonna fund AEW? Right?
I know.
So okay. On that note, brother man, I tell you what, let's wrap it up here.
Yep.
My name is Bobby Sampson. His name is Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And you know what, guys, girls, work hard for your dreams. Everyone says, oh, if you believe. No, that's bullshit. Work hard for your dreams. The harder you work, the more attainable your dreams will be. Nothing is free. Nothing is given. Nothing is deserved. You want it. You earn it. Samp and Chance are out.